Hi. I wanted to talk to you about yesterday's energy because yesterday here and today in some of the rest of the world was Mother's Day. And that brought up a massive amount of what I would refer to as the emotional pain body. So the Mother's Day happened and it was in correlation with a whole lot of stars which are doing something at the moment, but we won't go into that. And also obviously the lockdown for the virus. But what happened is because it was Mother's Day, it brought up a huge amount of energy, feelings, emotional trauma, pain regarding mothering. Now, whether it's no difference to whether you are a mother or not a mother. This applies to us as humans at the moment, being in a physical female body or being in a male body, being a parent or not being a parent. What happened was it really exacerbated, I guess, a lot of emotions and feelings around mothering, and that is regarding how we were mothered by our parents, or lack of mothering or lack of parenting, and how we parent ourselves and how we then go on to parent and mother others in our life. Now that can be animals, it can be older parents, it can be siblings, it can be friends, it can be relationships, it can actually being a mother. So yesterday, or a father. So yesterday what happened was that it pushed out a lot of trauma and resentment and grief around mothering, and particularly focusing on not being able to be mothered properly, or not being able to look after ourselves the way we wanted to, or not being looked after the way we deserve. And many of people I know, most of us have had interesting, shall I say, relationships with our mothers, or lack of, and that then just pushed it all out, because Mother's Day is meant to be about this celebration of mothering, this celebration that, wow, you're an amazing mother, wow, you had an amazing mother, and it just brought out a whole lot of stuff. And it's interesting that, we all try not to buy into that, but it's there in the consciousness. So it was around us all yesterday, and all leading into today as well, that real feeling of, what am I grieving about? What is this trauma about? I thought I dealt with that. This stuff's coming up. So it's coming up for a reason, even though it doesn't feel beautiful, let's say. It feels, oh, could I just get over this? Could this just stop? Could this suffering that I have been experiencing, or we have been experiencing, could it just stop? So some techniques, I've been really guided by the divine to and my higher self to actually share this with you, and suggest some techniques to help with this, because it's all around the lockdown, it's all around the isolation, it's all around that feeling of freedom. It's coming up in all different ways, and it may sound like, oh well, it only looks like this, but actually it's affecting us in so many different areas and relationships of our lives. So one of the things I've been guided to share with you is having a conversation with an aspect of your mother, as if she was there and able to hear you, with no consequence or no pushback or no karmic reaction or no tie. So you fill a bucket of salty water and put it at your feet, or you can have it on your lap, and then you talk to her, the mother that you didn't have, the mother that you have, the mother that you've lost, the mother that has died, the mother that has birthed you but wasn't there, whatever aspect you want, or all of the above. You put her in as if she's in front of you. You surround yourself in a beautiful bubble of golden white light, so it's all around you, and you imagine that she's also in that, and then you speak to her and tell her all the things you want to tell her. The good, the bad, the ugly, the blood, the sweat, the tears, everything about what you need to tell her. And then you thank her for her time. You ask that she now goes back to where she came from with divine love and with divine light, and then you throw away the water, like you literally put it down the toilet, or you put it down a garden or down a drain, because it's clearing that. And then you do something beautiful for yourself. Now that could be as simple as having a bath, a cup of tea, a glass of wine, a whiskey, a beer, not a teddy bear, like a drinking beer, a cider. It could be that you want to have a chocolate biscuit or a piece of cake, or you go and cuddle your animals, or you go for a walk or a run. It doesn't matter, but it's important that when we let go of something, and when we transmute something and try to forgive something or release that suffering, we then need to put something. I'm a big believer in putting something to replace that back. And this is about self-care, about self-loving, about self-nurturing, and about mothering yourself. So really important to do something that brings you a sense of relief and joy. And it could be 5 minutes long, it could be 5 hours long. It doesn't matter, as long as something is returned to you after you've done that ceremony. That is what I've been guided, that it's really a really beautiful gift to ourselves at the moment, to honour all those places that hurt, and with the mothering. Now, the other piece to this is this also affected people who aren't mothers and want to be mothers, and aren't fathers who want to be fathers, or actually lost babies, whether they were miscarriages or abortions or a death of some sort. The grief around that absolutely was immense as well. So really important that you honour that. And again, the next piece is maybe deciding to write a letter to those lost, let's call them lost children, however that is formulated for you. We write a letter to them and thank them, and you can write whatever you want to and release that letter. You can either you can keep the letter if you want to, you can bury it under a beautiful plant, you can burn it, but again, it's acknowledging that piece that's really hurt, that the hopes and dreams and wishes didn't turn out the way we expected to. You know, I'm a mother of an only child, and I always wanted to have more. That wasn't the case for me. That wasn't the journey for me. But there's grief and sadness around that, and guilt around that as well. So, you know, I've experienced a miscarriage. I've had all of those things happen that can happen, but there's grief around that needs to be healed, and the trauma around those things are really important to acknowledge. And I think on a day like Mother's Day or Father's Day, it can really exacerbate those feelings. So please do that. Write the letter. And then again, it's about honouring yourself with how you're feeling around that. You know, again, the good, bad, and the ugly around it. And then do something beautiful for yourselves. So I hope, or yourself, I hope, and you can also do that with someone else if you want to. You know, if it's you're with your partner and they're also experiencing grief around that situation, or if you're with family members that you think you could share that with, that would be beautiful as well. So I really hope they help you. I know I've been experiencing it alongside you, and we're in such unprecedented times at the moment. So please take loving, tender care of yourselves. And from my heart to yours, lots and lots of love.